Yeah.
It's not like they went straight from one PC straight into another within a matter of 5 minutes either. There's been a significant break for them to get a drink, get to their breath, whatever they need to do to become a little bit more, I think, ready for the next match. I think Last Chance are probably going to win this, but I do think it'll be 2-1.
Yeah, it's super tough to tell. I was trying to break down kind of any experience they might have had with each other in the past. It turns out Yenim actually did play Corvidae Dreamhack Tours in Quaker Orbs with Effortless, and they got the 2-0 over there. So I wonder if this tiny amount of information helps. However, guys, we are going to be moving into Blood Run. This is going to be the first map of this series before we'll eventually go into Molten Falls and possibly an Awoken. But the guys have jumped on the server for now with the champion bans in place, which are Doom and Clutch. I mean, I'm seeing Isengalen, and I'm pretty sure we're going to continue with that one catch-up. It seems to be the flavor of the day.
It's just going to be obstructions left, right, and center. And I think that's the thing about Einstein, isn't it? Where his turret doesn't even necessarily need to attack. It could just be an inanimate object. It could be a cinder block for all I care, and it would still serve its amazing purpose of just blocking the important items.
Well, on board with Ved off the beginning. He's finally got himself that lightning gun back, sharing with his teammate. Good exchange of damage, though. I think I saw Steege there for a second. Wow, okay. Wow. Goes right back in, hits another rail. He's just going rail only at the moment. King is going to break his rhythm by getting that tri-bolt frag, but that is first blood shed in favor of Corvidae.
We've been seeing so much of Corvidae in all of these lands, and I feel like whilst they've been able to play really well, they've not quite been able to reach that next level of tournament placing that we know they're both hungry for. This would be such an incredible result for these guys.
This is why I'm just expecting something so damn close, because it always happens with Corvidae. They've got like some nail-biting series constantly. Oh, gonna get mutual frag in the end. Eventually, though, it is going to be Yenim and Vedmedic that get the better of that exchange.
Only slightly, though, as it's currently 3-2. We are about to see our quad damage for the first time. Vedmedic gets a kill, but not before it's returned by Steed, who gets a gauntlet kill as well. Just have to take out that totem, and the problem is, again, it's wasting the time, right? Even in death, that totem was serving its purpose to keep them away, and now with 10 seconds away from quad damage, this is going to be a pretty traditional 2v2. Missing the shotgun blast, that's big risk, big reward, unfortunately. King's going to fall. Is it going to be enough? Yes, it will. 2v2. That's going to be Last Chance winning that group fight.
Ooh. Oh my, how did that not get the kill? Okay, he did 168 damage with that. That is tons. It's got to be a dead man walking up there. Machine gun down to the side, eventually gets the right weapon out, but they're not able to connect the shots just then with that little, the bullet spread.
Defensive tri-bolt. Unfortunately, nothing hitting its mark. Steed trying so hard. Unfortunately, not able to get any of that damage on deck, and Vedmedic, with the quad damage, unfortunately, cannot actually rocket jump himself up towards Heavy. Otherwise, he'll kill himself.
And they've actually ended up giving away the Heavy. He's going to try punishing him. Steed almost lands that phenomenal follow-up rocket. And they still have to chase the small lead that's been established by Last Chance. But heals in the blood pool. King getting a mutual frag, unfortunately ending his own life.
Yeah, it was that rail that Vedmedic was able to land that kind of guaranteed that suicide. At that point, King dedicating so hard into that rocket fight, hadn't factored in the rail and obviously causing himself to die there, forcing a zero situation. Vedmedic going to take out Steed. Timing a little bit late on the Heavy, so he's going to be out in the open for a bit, but not punishing. There was no one nearby.
Just chipping away nicely. He does walk into a rocket Steege with some good damage from out of position. They're going to run into each other head first. Rocket chance there. Steege doing a brilliant job of them. We're going to get to see him for a little bit.
Steege has been very, very reactionary with his aiming so far. Yeah, so absolutely fantastic stuff so far, but Vedmedic's going to easily pick that one up as the 2v1 comes through. Now it's forced into another 2v1 from far away. King picks up one rail. Excellent stuff there as we have to now start to build towards the power-up room. Normally it's kind of the magic 20-30 second mark. We have to kind of decide to set up shop.
Yeah, Yenim is so weak. He's got very little to work with. He might try and check to see the secret if those health bubbles have respawned. They should before the power-up returns. Let's get the machine gun on the edge, but Steege is protecting secret position. He has the health bubbles beside him. He needs his teammate to spawn with him. Where is he? He's getting attacked. Both of them coming to the same place. There's one set of 90 damage. Looking for another. Oh, he just misses the rail. That would have ended his life. Steege is going to hit the follow-up. King now with 100 health. Protection in hand. He does find the lightning gun ammunition in time. And he did have the machine gun if he needed it. With a decent amount of damage. But here comes the rail out. If you're missing those shots, that's it. Lost opportunity for damage. However, we should get a tied game by the end of this power-up run.
King, even with this protection, running into 2 LGs is still going to be incredibly dangerous. But he's going to land 2 rails back-to-back. Now, actually, finally has an LG, so he can take the fight if he wants to. It's been an interesting sequence, and there's 3 rails landing in a row. The turret's going to get the extra little bit of damage there.
Thanks for the support, mate.
Unofficial 2v1. Oh!
The Toto, oh my god, it's so close. He was playing with 5. Just there, we've got a rocket jump from Ved. Swings onto that heavy at such speed. Just narrowly retaking that lead.
I was actually a big fan of that little mini crouch that we just saw there as an attempt to sort of dodge the spread from the super shotgun. Normally a super shotgun will kind of land within almost like the top half of someone's model. If you crouch, obviously you kind of limit the amount of damage the spread can do, in turn, less damage to you.
That tri-bolt, they chip away at the overstack that Ved had acquired. Ved's going to find one on Dandaking. There goes the turret. Steege has backed off a little bit as Last Chance now starting to take back the lead they had prior to the lost power-up.
It's always such a crazy comparison when you watch Blood Run in 2v2 compared to Blood Run in Duel. It's almost like it's an entirely different map. Oh, 2 excellent rockets.
Oh.
What a 2v1 there for Ved Medic. Had a little bit of assistance, yes, but accuracy off the chain. Pretty good spawn for Corvidae, actually allowing them to kind of sort of get the rocket and fight towards the Mega. Oh my god, the 2-piece.
Steege is right next to him. Turret in the way, he's going to find 90, looking for another rail, but Ved is going to end up going over to the heavy. He's only on 2 points of health. This is impossible to do anything for the power-up. Now, Dandaking and Steege, they can try and push away Yen, which they're going to be able to do. There's going to be the quad into the hands of Steege. He really, really needs help, though. He's got so little to work with. A rail can end his life. And he's now going to come to that realization that the Mega's gone, but he's hitting some stunning rails, as we've been expecting from the very beginning, I guess.
Having to wait a split second just for the totem to give him the health, but I think staying alive and limiting the quad from Last Chance is important there. There's the reactionary super shotgun, and it's a 3 versus 2. Unfortunately, that turret is just going to be a pain in the backside. Yenem now is collected, but quad's going to run out. I doubt he's going to get one, maybe 1 kill max.
I was expecting that rocket to hit him into the face after you said that, but...
Almost. Almost got it. Oh, excellent. 2-piece rail. 1 each.
They're doing insane with the rails. Look at that. Flick rail onto the turrets. Get their instant replay.
Someone highlight that quick.
Push over there from Steege, I think it was.
Excellent rail there from Yenem, allowing Vedmedic to run down and finish it. But actually going to trade it off rail for rocket. It's a pretty interesting count. That must have meant Vedmedic went for a close-range rail, too.
Interesting scores we're getting at the moment. We've got Ved on 16 frags. We've got 13 for Steege. Dandaking and Yenem both floating around the 5-6 mark.
I guess sometimes in 2v2 kills, even if they do only tell half the story, when it's a significant difference like that, you can always tell that one player is kind of almost like having the task of being the one that just sort of eliminates the other team, right? Where it's more like, you're the one that's setting up, and I'm the one that flanks all the time. I'm the one that kind of gets those last hits because I'm in the right place for it.
I get that damage going as well. You really need to be in that. But at the end of the day, you've got to get those finishing frags.
Oh my god, that was sick.
Okay, just pinball him around. Gonna find another round. Not quite. Might get pushed down with the LG. It's gonna be a 2 versus 1. Yenem even tries to rocket jump away. Ved is gonna save him, leaving Yenem on 15 health. The Steege is there to return the favor.
Not before Vedmedic has the last laugh there, though. And now 8 seconds away. We're going to see this protection, but Dandaking landing some absolute miracle rails, keeping them alive. Unfortunately, Steve's just going to fall down very, very quickly indeed because those grounded rockets ruining basically anyone's day. There's the protection, and he just has to get out. The objective needs to be escape. Get as much health as possible. Do not give up the protection.
Steege has assisted him, and look at that, he's had heavy into the mega health. This is a brilliant run for Corvidae, but Steege needs to watch out. Yeah, he did manage to avoid taking the lights so that his teammate can start building some stack as well. But if they can rush down and start the fight still with protection in hand, if Dandaking's trying to do this, he's found one, he's done a lot of good damage, and Steege is coming in from the other side to flank. This should leave them weak, and they can just pick them off now. Steege really missing a couple of rails in a row.
Just allowing Dandaking to collect the heavy, which is really important stuff. And there's the point blank. Wonderful combo there. Yenem deleted. I was going to say, like, from both sides, I think there's a reason the score is as close as it is. Like, there is some really excellent gameplay on both of these teams so far. Like, the rails have been great, the combos have been great, the sort of the quick reactionary, just run in and flank him, the 2v1s.
Last Chance did interrupt the heavy to mega rotation for Corvidae on the last rotation. Corvidae still got the heavy, but they prevented Mega getting picked up, which I think punished Dandaking as he was being a little over-aggressive to that position. So I'm curious if Controller's going to switch hands a little more to the favor. Switch hands a little more towards Last Chance, but if anything, it's just allowed Dandaking to get Mega and feel even better now. Like, you've got to be super careful with those switches to rail, because then you can't attack an enemy, and he's missed it. It goes through Eisen's legs.
That's pretty much case in point, I think, why the rail is such a big risk, big reward weapon. You know, if you hit those shots, it's fantastic. You know, the amount of damage you can deal is great. But if you miss, you are guaranteed dead. There really is nothing you can do to try and get out. But there's an excellent turnaround there from Vedmedic, and it's that sheer crazy combat skill that Vedmedic makes 2v1s look so effortless.
Makes it look too easy. But we have just had a couple of frags now going the way of the Australians. They're back onto the power-up. The thing is, when they're not on the power-up, it feels like Last Chance are playing a bit stronger. But the fact that they managed to secure the power-ups means at least they got some headway into the game somehow. Opting to go machine gun. Is he going to chase through the teleport? It's a risk, but he goes for the flick on the teleporter exit.
Massive damage.
It's mostly to the turret, though, I think. Oh, that hurts a lot. Fed gets the follow-up rocket. That's a bit of a nightmare for Corvidae. We've now passed the 10-minute mark. He's going to do some damage. He can get the frag just in time. No, Quad is now faded away. He's super weak, and Dandeking gets a little rail to finish off the frag in time.
Oh, and there's that nice little turnaround, point blank, and Yenem missing his first rail, and that's what allows Dandeking to finish him off. It's the big risk, big reward again, just at work. Before I could even finish saying Dandeking the same position.
Yeah, pole position by teleporter, not going to push through for now. We're looking at the penultimate power-up in about a minute's time. Be a protection this time. Rocket's not looking too shabby either.
Yeah, Yenem actually, theoretically, might have been able to actually secure that frag, but unfortunately just off just by a slight amount. Dandeking is now getting obliterated by the super shotgun, but somehow still stays alive, and he still lives, but not without taking an absolute ton of damage.
Feels like Dandeking and Steege, they go for a lot of rails, which is amazing when they're connecting, but as soon as they stop connecting those rails, there's a bit more persistent damage from Yenem and Vedmedic as they're opting to go with nail gun, shotgun, machine gun, rockets, LG, basically any other weapon.
Yeah, there's a clear change in momentum too. I know it sounds like the most obvious analysis in the world, but when these rails are missing, it just feels like Corvidae just hit a dead halt in their complete gameplay. They can't control anything. Even right now, Steege trying to save Dandeking, but missing the shot, so Dandeking just dies. Lands the rail, but it might not be enough now. It's going to be a 2 versus 1. Misses the shot again, but with 12 stack left, that's not good. Dandeking just getting pinballed around. Steege is going to fall down as well, but he's taking so much damage, cannot get away from the protection at all.
And this is such a pivotal top moment in the game in order to secure a power. The thing is, they're doing a lot of damage. This time they don't overcommit to the mega health. Maybe it could have been a good idea, but they back away, not to give up any more headway to Last Chance. There's 4 frags between them. And still, just about 10 seconds left on this protection, I think.
Now, Last Chance, as they've sort of drifted the final 10 frag limit, this really is the kind of critical point for them. Only 8 kills left, and they're going to take this round. Dandeking getting forced away. Cannot survive the fight. Yenem, is he going to trade it out? Only 4 health left. That's why Steege swaps to the machine gun. Excellent choice. It's a very close time here, isn't it, Zoo?
Yeah, it's insanely close. Steege looking to punish a bit. He does get some good damage off of that heavy pickup of Last Chance. And Mega Health has just been acquired too, but that goes the way of the North Americans. Corvidae, I mean, they're playing to slow the game down a bit and get that quad at the end. They need it real bad. We've got a direct rocket, but Yenem, again with the lightning gun, he's got the follow-up damage. Yenem is pretty weak. I mean, both the Last Chance players are quite weak, but they're still picking up frags, which is insane.
And now they're on this health. It's almost like this is where they are the most dangerous, you know, because the second Vedmedic's nearly dead, he will start going for these ridiculous rails because it's basically his, you know, no pun intended, last chance of staying alive. Because if he's going to die anyway, let's try and maximize damage. Maybe even better, we can get one of those last-minute kills. And it has been working wonders. 3 frags left. Corvidae, so much more work left to go.
It's not over. It's not over at all. The last power-up, and then basically a minute of play afterwards, they absolutely can come back in this. And remember, this is also the map pick of Last Chance. So when we go into Molten Falls, that will be Corvidae's home map. If they could make an upset here, this could be really, really powerful going into the rest of the series.
The control has been established by Corvidae. This is their objective. Slow the game down. Let's try and get the power-up. Unfortunately, they need to win this fight, otherwise it's going to be game over because it's going to be a power-up gone and then 1 frag, which is so easy to land. That's a trade. That's an unfortunate trade. He gets the quad and he survives. So important. But Dandeking needs to make magic happen with this power-up.
He just did actually a big chunk of damage with the turret. That would be about 120 in total. Does just eat the damage on the teleporter exit. He just figured, you know, I've got to do something. A nail gun jumper over there would be really useful. He doesn't want to go for the nail jump, in fact. Mega's going to spawn. He's going to allow the quad to run out, and they've got to secure 5 frags in this next minute. And I think Steege, he's up on his own. 1 more kill needed from the last chance boys. There's going to be 1 kill. Daneking, he can't secure the 1 versus 2, and that is going to allow last chance to get a map up on them.
It was an unfortunate way for that map to end, really. You know, Daneking was holding on so much to that quad damage that, you know, he was just looking for his time to land it. And then by the time we'd even realized that Steege was left on his own and there was 2 people on top of him, Daneking was in no position to actually help. There was no way he could get up there.
I would have really liked to have seen Daneking go for a nail gun jump up to heavy and just support Steege up at the nail gun room as soon as possible. He went for the full control. At any other moment in the game earlier on, it would have been the right play to make, but you had to have a sense of urgency then in order to pick up the kills, because it'd be so difficult. As soon as that power-up goes, in order to chase and hunt down, what was it, 5 kills in the last minute, it's so hard. And I think he needed, at that point, to take the risk.
It's particularly difficult on Blood Run too, because of just the nature of how this map is laid out with the teleporters. You know, it's such a common strategy, and always has been since Quake Champions, you know, started with Blood Run, was to kind of sit near those teleporters, and then when you either hear someone appear or see them, just kind of pull back into the teleporter, go to another location, and almost forces the person that doesn't have the power up to be the one that kind of has to pick up. That's kind of why I think Steege was there. His goal was probably to catch them running away, and then pick them up, and then catch them on the respawn. That's kind of the classic.
He ended up catching 2 people.
Which was more than he bargained for.
Yeah, you don't exactly want that. But that's actually one of the things that vedmedic and the NM do really well. They're just picking off the outlier, you know, and splitting them apart a little bit. And rushing through just everything they possibly can, because, and Yenem, he tolerates Ved's aggressiveness incredibly well, especially when he's so good at it.
Now, the thing is, going into our next map, you know, you kind of mentioned that the map picks, you know, a little bit swapped now, so there is going to be, I think, that element for Corvidae, and it would be unfortunate to see them fall again. Because they always play so well on land, but it's like I said earlier, they just never seem to be able to reach like the big placement they're looking for. You know, a top 8 at this event, the amount of money that's on the line, you know, this is a $200,000 LAN. There's a lot of cash on the line, and if you place top 8, that's where the real money starts to come in.
Yeah, my prediction actually ahead of the event, before I got on the plane, was I think I stuck Corvidae in my top 8. So obviously at that point I didn't know this possible matchup would be there, but you know, they're a team that are worthy of a top 8, but I don't know if it's in the mind a little bit, because I think Daneking in particular is an exceptionally talented player. It's just crossing that finish line a little bit, getting over those mental barriers. Steege, in some way, I think he's a very good player in his own right, but I think he looks up to Daneking as well, and he almost has to have that sort of leadership status and take them both across it. And with that, and you know, he's got a voice. He's loud when playing in games, so he can definitely lead them to victory. But here we are, catch up. Molten Falls is starting in just a moment. Let's see if the Australians can come back in this.
There's going to be a lot of people out there, especially, you know, that part of the world, that are going to want their boys to make it through all the way into top 8, and dare I say the rest of the tournament. But unfortunately, if they lose this map, they're out.
Well, Daneking, as always, yeah, best of luck, fellas.
My God, the LG. Oh, that's disgusting.
Jem gets himself another actually over there. That's 2 frags very fast. The last chance. Ved looking up to pick up another. Wants to get on the board himself. And he's got a good stack right after that. He gets health bubbles. It gets the small armor shards on the floor and the light armor. That's perfect for him. A great start for last chance.
Yep, once again, we are going to see this mirror match situation. It's going to be Ice, it's going to be Galena, so the obstructions are going to be real. The obstruction has been such a common factor, I think, throughout these maps, Nice, and there's a reason this champion's being picked as often as he is. You know, that turret is not just a damage dealer, it is the ultimate obstacle, really.
Now he's trying to lock onto his target. Steege does desperately come around just to get an exchange of some sort. Daneking now is left very low, and he's going to find a player right by the teleporter exit, and he probably had his mind on that mega health that was soon to spawn. And instead, Ved, he gets the heavy. Mega is left up. Corvidae do take it eventually. There's no real split between the items at the timing, so I wonder if we're going to see kind of the Corvidae half and the last chance half of the map.
The thing is, if memory serves me correctly, especially throughout the Go4 Cups that we would see with 2v2, this is a pretty decent map for last chance. We've seen them do pretty wonderful things in the past. And oh my God, the double. vedmedic just in the perfect position. And in both times there, Yenem was the one that was causing all the attention. So no one was looking at vedmedic, reducing his damage, and now he has a chunky stack to get this quad rampage, which I have no doubt he's going to get, you know, a fair few more frags before it's done.
He's going to find a bit more LG ammo, I think. He should know that someone's recently been around here. He's got 10 seconds of it left to go. I think he might have heard a player up at the top. See if he can chase him fast. Get a rail just before the power goes. He gets the LG instead. Been a brilliant run from vedmedic so far. 10-2. That's a dominant first couple of minutes.
Yeah, this is not how you want to start a map when you're one game down. This is going to be a pretty hard uphill battle so far. Steege gets the LG on Yenem, but not before Yenem's coordinated a lot of the information. You know, they're up there. Watch out. This is the stack they're probably looking at.
King gets on the board a little more. Both of the Corvidae players are horrendously weak, and King denied getting those health bubbles. Zed is just ready for every possible angle.
That was just so quick. It almost didn't even look. It looked like he had piercing sight.
Is he going to get the rail? And then not quite. He's got a totem there to heal him up a little bit. He's trying to support his teammate, going for the ticker, and it just drops into the rail shot. vedmedic's reaction is just astonishing.
But then Yenem with the pickup. 2 clean frags. This is why I think that they're such a match made in heaven, and why their combination, like, together has been so effective. Why we've been seeing them do so many amazing things in 2v2. Let's not forget, for those that are just joining the stream, Last Chance, they have defeated Team Liquid in tournament before.
Yeah. And now we kind of see why as well. If they're hitting like this, they can do it consistently, it's unreal. And you can see how much return you get when you start to string those rails together.
This is an amazing time to start playing out your mind, that's for sure. This is a qualifying match for top 8. There's so much riding on this map.
You double up your prize money, moving over into the next part of the tournament. Oh, we got all the pressure. Yenem eventually steals away the protection. It's a good damage from King, and an elusive totem just shows its face.
That totem just looked rude. It didn't even look necessary. Like, come on, man.
18-6 catch-up. Is this what you were expecting?
Not at all. I expected things to be much closer in Corvidae. As things go from bad to worse and the frag limit just escapes them further, it's such a mental block as well to not only try and make an adjustment, but to look at the deficit and go, right, we can still come back here.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
my God.
absolutely. We've already shown that a lead like this isn't game security for Yenem and vedmedic. It ended up escaping them with a lead like this on Awoken versus AMD. What's important for them is that they keep their foot hard pressed on the gas pedal to the very end. Keep that focus on the control. No assumption that you can just kind of ride it home or anything like that, because Corvidae could very well still find a way into this.
Big mistake would be to start underestimating your opponent, that's for sure. Yeah, the second you give someone an opening, you start to give them an opportunity to show you just how good they are. If you're sort of smothering them in effect and not giving them an opportunity to show what they can do, then that's pretty much the best approach.
There goes spawns. Yenem eventually is going to be the one to take that. We've got Heavy spawning very shortly. Leading the way into the charge. There's a spawn. Eventually gets taken away by an Australian, going for a vertical rail peak. Yenem is only the one ending up taking damage. Oh, he doesn't destroy that totem in the end. He absorbs 50 damage. That made him railable, and then Steege is able to pick him off.
I think with how this map's been going so far, the fact that Steege was able to somewhat turn this one around, the fight did not go in their favor at all. Last Chance had a pretty good flow going. You know, there was a distinct separation between the Mega and the Heavy spawning. So every time Last Chance would collect one of the other, they could essentially go to the next point and assume that Corvidae would be there because they have to try and restack. It's the only way they can get back into the fight. Now things have been offset just a little bit.
Steege, big fight for him to win. King, he comes in with the pummel! Yenem as well with the pummel! He takes it right back. Whatever you can do, I can do better.
That's just, before you can even celebrate that pummel steal, you get pummeled yourself. Like, that's just a, shut up, mate.
That's rude, man. It was all rude, the whole lot.
I think that was the rudest exchange I've seen all day. But just look at the reward too. I mean, like 26-11 last round, 27-11 now, probably going to be 28. Oh God, oh my God, hurts so good.
440 shotgun blasts. It's ridiculous, doesn't it, with the quad?
From so far away, it's like, it feels like it almost like, it makes total sense, just for the record, but it just looks like it shouldn't. It's like, what?
What's the maximum? It's like 500. I was always told don't do maths on stream.
It was 120 point blank, isn't it?
140.
140, even more.
Times 2. Five. Yeah, it is. I can confirm, guys. My mental is
on the spot mathematics
here. Ooh, just gorgeous, yeah.
But it's like we were talking earlier, that it just feels like Last Chance have not slowed down by any degree. You know, they haven't made any necessary adjustments as such. Just what they're doing is clearly working. It's just It's a team that is clearly hungry, and that's why they're offsetting their spawns as well. Like, right there. How are they supposed... I mean, yes, vedmedic doesn't have a stack, but how are they supposed to fight back? They have nothing. Nothing off spawn versus a Rail, an LG, like...
There's too much Rail from King and Steege is the problem. And again, it sounds so, like stupid, pointless analysis, but you got a second reload of Rail. If you hit it, you do 90 damage. If you miss, you're obviously reloading. And then are you going to bank on firing another Rail and missing that? During that period, you could only chip away 15 damage with a shotgun or a machine gun or whatever, but it's more than the 90. They always go for the 90, and unless you're hitting 60, 70% Rail consistently, I think it's way too much of a high-risk procedure. You need to use the unholy trinity in order to bank on some more secure damage.
That death from King, as kind of clumsy as it was, almost kind of makes me worry a little bit about kind of how downward things are going in this map for them, almost a bit like an analogy, if you will. The protection now goes in vedmedic's favor, where he doesn't even really need to get a spree off this. He just needs to keep it, so Corvidae haven't got that comeback mechanic that they desperately need.
Unfortunately for King, he's having at such a critical point in the tournament for them. He's having probably one of the worst games I've seen him have. 4 for 19 he is at the moment. Got Steege on 11 for 17. Yenim and Ved floating around at 18, 17 frags respectively. King, there's always a chance to come back.
Oh my God!
The work needs to be done, and Ved is just tearing people apart.
It's becoming much harder because you factor in not only do they need to make this incredible comeback, but very clearly last chance. It's not like they're playing worse. vedmedic is just becoming more aggressive. His accuracy is improving. He's just hit so many rails in a row. Like, they need to slow him down before they can even start making a comeback. And finally, they put a lid on him.
I could also say that Ved is firing so many rails. The thing is, when he misses them, he's putting himself out of range. You know, he's always trying to hide that damage a little bit more, and it's also hitting just a bloody lot of rails.
Yeah, 100%. Steve's just so weak now. Just go sneeze on him at this point, he's going to die.
There's that one shot from the turret would have killed him too.
40 health, that's not going to be enough to survive! Oh my God.
Yeah, good read.
Oh no!
There was so low. Over 20 frag advantage here on King and Steege's map pick. Now they're trying to pop off a little bit. They can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Getting themselves over to top 8 here at the major Quake Champions 2v2 tournament.
Yeah, we talked about how don't necessarily take your foot off the gas. Now you're doing so well. At this point, maybe they don't even need to. Like, 9 kills left to go. Corvidae are so far back. They've got a quad, but look at how weak they are. Like, at this point, can they even risk suiciding? Like, they need every frag they can get.
They absolutely do. And Heavy's just gone away. Probably almost good that Steege doesn't have the rail right now, but you know what, at the moment you just grab anything and you go. He's going to find a player at the top. He does get the frag. But in order to come back, they need to hope last chance make too many mistakes, and they need to have every risky frag needs to go their way. Yenim has been found, but Ved is going to hit the rail. That's another step closer to leaving the tournament for Corvidae.
I mean, at this stage, last chance need to colossally screw up to lose this map. Like, it almost feels like it's a done deal. Doesn't even need to be over, because in 4 frags, things will be. Last chance have had such an amazing time so far, falling narrowly on that first map to AMD, and I feel like, it almost feels like it was like a wake-up call in essence on the winner's side.
Yeah. I think they know they're worthy of being up there. And the way the 2v2 scene is at the moment, we've got so many teams that have gotten so close in skill level as well. And a lot of players would say that. Like, between practice, it's been very difficult to predict what exactly is going to come down beyond the sort of immediate favorites at the top.
I feel like the gap between the American teams and the European teams is now starting to close in a bit more significantly, and I also think it's no longer becoming the liquid show. You know, last chance proving 100% that North America is not messing around, especially in 2v2.
It's going to be very interesting where we see these teams on the bracket on top of that, as we'll explore that a little later on. At the moment, vedmedic and Yenim only needing 3 more frags to seal the deal. And Corvidae, I mean, they've got to keep their heads up.
The problem is that the last chance is just business as usual at this point. You know, the rail's going to come through and Ved's going to try and pick things up. The block comes out a little bit with the toe, but it's not enough. vedmedic now with 3 health left. kind of in a nothing to lose situation. Danny King is going to get this frag, but ultimately it's just not going to matter. Last chance to have the protection as well, and look at the stack. There is no way. There's no way they're going to survive this. Last chance of moving on. They're going to defeat Corvidae. Unfortunately, Corvidae going home, but Last Chance are still alive.
Yeah, they are. And honestly, slightly unexpected when we went to Blood Run onto Last Chance map pick. It was incredibly, incredibly close. Move over to Corvidae's map pick, and I don't know what happened. Last Chance just went Super Saiyan then. Looked so impressive. You know, those combos they're both getting where they're going LG, Rockets, and the quick switch over to Rail. I mean, they're just crazy consistent at hitting those shots.
There was a concern that when they'd fallen to AMD, maybe the light was gone. You know, maybe they had this great spark of momentum throughout the final Go For stream that we had, and then going into this tournament where they looked absolutely phenomenal throughout the course of the day. They have taken out some really impressive teams actually to reach this point anyway, even though they're now in the lowest bracket. However, it's good to see that it didn't sort of kill their morality, and they've been able to go through.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, to break down the game a bit more, we'll head over to Jason and the others.
Thank you very much for that, Zoo in Ketchup. And yes, we do have now technically kind of like our 5th team through to the playoff bracket. We have more teams we'll show you later on, but guys, that was a rough match for Corvidae, unfortunately.
That was a butt whooping. There's no other way to put it. I mean, it was just too much Venom, too much Vedmedic. They were doing some amazing stuff.
Their aim, like watching Vedmedic and Yenna's LG. Like, so I was saying backstage, Vedmedic to me reminds me of Sirius and the way he aims at like the feet when he's LG tracking. But his like snapping and then LG tracking and snap and LG tracking was ridiculous.
And the first map at the end of I think it was a Blood Run they played the first one. But Dandy King had quad, and he got in a fight with Vedmedic. It was LG versus LG. And Vedmedic said, you know what, you got quad? I don't care. Let's just go head to head. He won the fight. That's enough said. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I think the spark had kind of gone out with Corvidae for some reason. Even from the very start, they just couldn't find their groove. Must have been sun in their eyes, setting sun or something. But they were distracted. That's the only reason.
We're in a closed building. There's no sunlight going in here. We're true gamers.
I've got to at least find some way to justify my mispick.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, if you go to Blood Run, they had an early lead, but once Last Chance took the lead, I don't think they had a lead ever again. Not on Blood Run, and certainly not on Molten. They didn't get anything going.
Last Chance, like the aim, we mentioned it, it's so good. And they also did an excellent job at sticking together. Yep. They were just always ready to take these fights, 2v2, 2v1. And I think that's one of the big things that Corvidae lost on. Also, the totem placement was epic on the second map. There were just 2-3 totems up at the top of the teleporter near Molten Falls, basically the entire time.
And that's exactly what Cooler was giving them credit for earlier, saying that, their totem placement on Awoken was really good, and here we go into Blood Run and stuff. Again, great totem placement, cutting off the map. It's great strategy. They're doing a good job.
Well, I mean, luckily for us and for Corvidae, they don't have to go home just yet, because we still have a duel tournament to come up. So even after just playing that, unfortunately being knocked out in 2s, we still have duel matches to come up today and duel matches to come up on Sunday. And I'm curious to see how those do break down.